Hello and welcome to Under the Moods. Now, today, can you guess what we're talking about? Yep, it's one of these things, virtual reality. And in the theme of last episode of a top 5 list of my favourite games of the generation, we're continuing that with my top 5 VR games. So let's get straight into that, because we all know that my videos don't do very well when I talk about VR. So let's make this a bit quicker one. You can see on the channel, I'm not lying. Look at those views. Beautiful, beautiful. So, before we get into our top 5, let's talk about the honourable mentions, like we did last time. A brief disclaimer, there are a few games that I haven't yet actually finished, like Trover Saves the Universe and Blood and Truth. Despite reviewing them both on my channel earlier this year, I haven't got around to finishing them. Oops. So, at the top of the honourable mentions list is PlayStation VR Worlds. This was kind of the taster disc given when people first bought their PSVRs back in the day, 2016. Yep, it's been around for a long time. So with this one, it kind of gives you, in fact, a really good demonstration exactly how detailed, how far VR has come. It introduces you to this beautiful gallery. We have statues representing each of the different experiences that you can play. You see the PS4 controller moving around in virtual space to give you an idea of presence. And you can also interact with this weird orb that flies around. You can use your controller to push it around, use the touchpad to control it where it goes. And when you select the certain selection of games, it changes this orb into a relevant object representing said game. And as you've noticed, I've not even talked about the actual games and experiences inside this, because I don't need to. This just entry level is fantastic, and it just does a perfect example of showing off PlayStation VR. Of course, the side games are great, from the London Heist, to the amazing Shark Tank experience, to Scavenger's Odyssey, which is actually a really, really good little game, except it tends to give everybody who's ever played it a nice sense of queasiness. Yeah, that experience was kind of the equivalent of going, hey, do you want to learn how to ride a bike, little Timmy? Here's a unicycle! If you have PlayStation Worlds VR, then I would recommend using it as an example to all your friends who've never played or experienced VR before. Perfect example, just a menu. Mwah. Diner Duo is a fantastic co-op little game. The person in VR is the chef and he has to prep all the burgers, and the person using the controller watching the TV is the one having to run around and serve the other robots that come in. It's a great game about communication, as the person running around in the diner has to call out exactly what order numbers they have to do, and the chef person has to look at which orders there are. Okay, it's a double cheeseburger, get them ready, and it's all about that beautiful synergy that comes with the diner. So that was fantastic. I love that one. If you have someone who you want to show VR off to and you want to do couch co-op with them, perfect game for it. Right, let's move on. And last up in our honourable mentions is Downward Spiral Horror Station? Horror Station? Horse Station? Hour Station? I don't know, my dyslexia kind of stumbles over this game title way too much. But anyway, Horse Station, let's go with that, far more interesting. In this game, you're kind of birthed into this weird space station that's all the lights are off. It's a very dark game, actually. It's weird robots going around, and there's not really much story to it. There's no, like, logs that you can hear and see what people are doing. It's all a bit quiet, and playing it single player kind of sucks. But what's this? You could play the game cooperatively? Hell yeah. So, I played the whole game through with my cousin Jamie, and we had a fantastic time just going through the space station and just killing robots and having a laugh with the weird mechanics.
What was that? It looks like a vacuum. Base crumbs! What are you doing? You're trying to suck a vacuum with a vacuum?
You're floating around in 0G in this, so there's kind of a weird feeling about it. It works brilliant in VR, actually. You have a hook gun to shoot you around and pull, harkening back to the days of James Bond Nightfire. I believe they had one of those things you could fly around in co-op. I love that stuff. This game was so much fun with co-op. Boring and very quiet and slow single player, but brilliant with another person. It just changes the whole theme of it. I've talked about this game previously in Resistance VR video, so if you want to know more about it and why I think it's so good. Actually, no, I just explained that. Whatever. Alright, let's move on. We're done with honourable mentions. I'm weirdly waffling. This is terrible. I've not got a lot of time to record this. So let's just get on to the actual list. Okay, at number 5... Yeah, oh wait, hang on, we need the graphic first. Thank you. So at number 5 is Moss. Moss is kind of this beautiful fairy tale-like / woodland creature / Sylvanian family. What are they called? The weird badger things you could buy as home. I don't know what they're called, but anyway. Okie Doke. Remember Okie Doke from the 90s? That weird stop animation thing? Oh, sorry, you're not English? Or you're probably not going to know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Moss, you control this beautiful little character called Quill, and she's the protagonist of the game. And there's this whole story about bloody blah blah. It's beautiful, it's fantastic. And the way you control this is you are controlling this kind of spirit. You see your reflection in water and everything, and Quill can see you because she held this spirit rock or something. It allows you to control her. She sees you. You can actually like high five and give her little strokes on the head. It's very cute. You can move the PlayStation controller to inside the game and pull slabs out. She can climb around. Yeah, it's just a classic quest. If you're going on a quest to stop something or to save your uncle, it's fantastic. It's very cute. I love it so much. That's my number 5. The length of this level is very short, and I know it's kind of sad that Moss was beaten by a 20-minute experience, but the experience and what it is inside a VR... Well, of course you're in VR, you idiot. You're inside an X-Wing. That's right, you get to drive around in an X-Wing, and it's like every 10-year-old boy's dream, except you're 27 now, and the world's kind of crashing down on you, and you don't know where you stand in the world anymore. Ooh! So you are part of this squadron of X-Wing pilots, the 5 of you? Yeah, the 5 of you. And you go through this portal because there's a distress beacon from K2O. K2SO? The robot from Rogue One. Yeah. The robot from Rogue. Basically, they need a bit of a tow, so you go over there to help them escort, and boom! Oh no! Here comes some TIE fighters. Oh shit, there's a Star Destroyer. It's blown up the cavalry. And holy hell, you get to fly around an X-Wing, and it's fantastic, and oh, so beautiful. One of my dear friends is an absolute Star Wars fan, and getting to see him play that, oh my goodness, he was just loving it. He was just in there, and it was like seeing him transformed into this thing. He was standing up, doing the finger at some TIE fighters he just blew up. It was bonkers, and that is sort of what you want VR to be for everybody. It's a crime against VR humanity that they haven't expanded this into a full game. It's not like they're sort of, you know, lacking on material. Look at all the beautiful films of star fighting things and battles and all the games, all the stuff. There's so much. Like, I would love to see the battle at the end of Rogue One in VR. That'd be amazing. The controls are so tight. There was so much love behind this project, and it sucks. That's all it came to. I want to make a whole video about this, and maybe I will someday. But anyway, there we go. Number 4, X-Wing experience. And number 3, we are talking about Firepoint. Yes, this is the game that the developers actually helped develop the sharpshooter control. And yes, I've made joke before about its PV piping, and heck, it works really well. So let's talk about Firepoint. This interesting game where you're kind of exploring this alien world around you and all sorts of things. And
can you fall off? Did you try it? Yeah, what?
You crash land and blah-de-blah and oh!
I thought I got you!
The presence in VR is one thing, but the presence of moving around with that thing with the 2 sticks is fantastic. It gives so much depth to the level, to the landscape, thinking, oh, I can actually go over there, and it's seamless. There's no, you know, teleporting or jumping, or it fades to black and opens again. There are little mechanics you can choose if you are susceptible to motion sickness that get around feeling sick with those kind of controls. But for the larger part, it is a seamless journey as you go through. And you've got spiders, which no one likes spiders.
Piss off, jumping dickhead. Oh, I flipping hate spiders. Where you at, dickheads?
They jump around and shooting you. It's fantastic. You can hear it. That's horrible. That's horrible. Later on in the game, the enemies do change up. I don't want to go into that any much more because while that is a fantastic part of the game, it kind of is very spoily. So let's avoid that. But it is the only first-person shooter game that I've really felt kind of got the mechanics great. There are other first-person shooters like Firewall and Bravo Team and Honor and Duty, but they never really seem to catch me. Maybe it's the sci-fi flair of this one. But again, there is a co-op option for this, so you can muck around with your friends in co-op and battle spiders and all that, and it's really fun. And he's... Oh, flip! Shit! Cousin Jamie and I went through this and had a great time. I think a lot of my experiences in VR, how much I love them, came through those co-op experiences. Oh, fuck! Damn! But yeah, so that was number 3. Firepoint, loved it, brilliant. Would recommend it to anybody. Get the controller. It was 60 quid or 65 quid when it came out. Been up to £100, and it's gone down a bit more now. Just jump on it if you see it for 65 or below. Anyway, let's move on to number 2. Oh wow, we're steaming through this. If you follow this channel, then you were probably expecting this one to pop up, but it's Astrobot, created by Team Asobi by Japan Studios in Japan. Thank you for that game. They actually created the Playroom, which was, again, a free demo disc kind of thing of little experiences when you got the VR, using the robots that were introduced with the PlayStation camera. One of the levels on there, which was called Robot Rescue, was fantastic. It was clearly the standout. Everybody made a big ruckus about it, saying, please, please, Japanese gods, make a VR full game of this. And so they did it, and it was amazing. It's creative, it's beautiful, the graphics are beautiful. Did I mention it was beautiful, very sharp. It felt like a Nintendo game, if you understand that. Like, it really felt like the playfulness and the creative level design was just oozing Nintendo, but it was a PlayStation game. Although it was made in Japan, so maybe that's... I had so much fun with Astrobot, and it was a game that I was really looking forward to, and it did not disappoint at all. I'm so happy with it. It's around £25 at the moment, maybe less, but if you have a VR, get it. Seriously, you are missing out if you don't get this game. Oh, it looks a bit too childish. I'm a big, strong man, and I like Firewall. Well, shut up. You'll enjoy this anyway. There's a demo. Just try the demo out. I probably personally attacked a lot of people there. But Astrobot, beautiful game. Fantastic. Get it. There's not much more I can say about it. Best level is the one where you go underwater into a cave. Again, I want to do an episode all about Astrobot. Okay, Astrobot. Fantastic stuff. If you haven't got it, you're an idiot.
I have an Astrobot on my window. Get off. Dear. Hi.
Let's move on to number 1. Oh, they are ready. Now, this one might be a surprise for a lot of people who play VR games, a quarter of the audience. This was a game that came out of somewhat nowhere, and it was just oozing with Portal vibes. And I think I mentioned the Talos Principles in my last episode had Portal vibes, and I went straight for that. And like this one, I went straight for this because, come on, who doesn't like Portal? And this was a fantastic use of virtual reality, a fantastic use of the PlayStation controller in virtual reality, and it was a great puzzle game. So you find yourself in this weird chair and your hands are locked into a box, so you can't actually see your hands. However, in real life, when you hold the controller, you press one button on the controller and something moves on the box. And pressing these in a certain order and figuring out, you kind of start to unlock the boxes, and every single challenge is about solving the box that's in front of you. Now, this might just be as simple as changing things on the box to move around and hey, you're done. But it might get as complex as using things in the room. An example being one of the maps includes a remote control car, and on this box in front of you, you have a screen, and you have to control this car around. And yes, you see its perspective, but you can look over and see the car driving around on its own as you control it. And you have to weave through all sorts of environments to find answers, to solve things on the box. It's such a clever use of virtual reality, and I would love to see more from this, but the developers are the same guys who did Little Nightmares, if you played that game, and there's a second one of that coming. So I think that was more popular because there's a lot more people with a PlayStation 4 than a PSVR. But Static, if you haven't played it and you love puzzle games, do not skip on this one. I usually see it on the PlayStation Store for like £5, which is an absolute steal. It's a great game. It was scary at the time because it had this ominous feeling about it, and it was just brilliant. So if you like puzzle games, you like that's not a word. Static, beautiful game. I hope they do more. Spooky, clever. It's hits those dopamines that just explode when you solve a puzzle. Love that feeling. But yeah, Static, try it. Lovely game. And with that, we come to the end of this video. So there we go. That's my top 5 VR games so far, I guess. Yeah, because it's only been out for a couple of years. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that list. Let me know what your list of VR games are below. If you don't have a PSVR game, just list games you like the look of that are in VR. I don't know. Whatever. I doubt this is going to get many views because no one likes VR. Anyway, enough sulking. Thank you for watching. I've been Under the Moons, and yeah, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell and all that jazz, and I'll see you next time Under the Moons. Oh, did you like the new title sequence, by the way? Just thought I'd just check. Took a long time to make that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time Under the Moons. See you later.